Ariel Helwani in Los Angeles alongside Jon Jones following today's UFC 232 press conference. Jon, you have had at times a contentious relationship with the UFC, yet they just moved an entire event on 6 days' notice for you. Were you shocked when you found out that they were doing that?
You know, I don't think they moved the event for me. The UFC is not a company to put one athlete above everyone. I think they moved the event for the sake of the card and keeping the card strong and keeping the fans excited. I know there's people all over the world who are planning on renting this pay-per-view, and people all over the world who want to see me and Alexander Gustafsson fight now. We're both in great shape right now, and with the UFC, one thing I've learned is that the wheels are always going to keep turning. They're always going to find a way to make it happen, and it would have been really devastating and tragic to cancel the event. So thank God they didn't. They found a way. A lot of people got hurt in the process, but a lot of people are still really happy that it's still happening. So I think that's more what went down.
I understand that you went up to a lot of the fighters yesterday and personally apologized to them for this inconvenience. Did any of them sort of push back? Did any of them give you a piece of their mind?
No one pushed back at all. You know, at the end of the day, I think people realize that this situation is a little bit out of my control. You know, but people are really affected, and some people really don't want to look at it for what it is. They're just saying, hey, it has something to do with Jon. Let's just blame it on Jon. But a lot of guys knows that it's out of my control, and they forgave me for just the whole thing.
Here's the thing that I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around, and I'm hoping that you can help clear it up for me. They're saying that they believe, USADA believes, and the UFC believes, and California believes that this is the same metabolite that you tested positive for back in July of 2017. And they're saying that you did not re-ingest anything. How do they know for sure? Did you explain that to them? Did they make you do further testing? How do they know that for a fact?
Well, I think the science proves that there was no added, what are you calling it, readjustment?
Reingestion.
Reingestion, yeah, I'm sorry, I cannot speak today. If you look at the drug testing, you know, they're finding M3 metabolite, which is a long-term metabolite. What I've heard recently is that this metabolite can live in you for up to 7 years. And the science on this is still fairly weak. I mean, right now, a lot of people are A lot of people are learning about it through my situation. So I guess MT is a long-term metabolite, and through all the random drug tests that I've taken, there's never been any short-term metabolites found, any mid-term metabolites found, where if you would surprise me with a random drug test and you find short-term metabolites, that would be evidence of readjustment. If you were to find medium-range metabolites, that would be evidence that I took it again. But they're only finding long-term, and like I said, this long-term metabolite, what I'm hearing, can live in you for up to 7 years. So that's I think that's the main piece of evidence that supports the fact that I didn't do it again.
So Jeff Nowitzki told Joe Rogan earlier today that it came up in a test in August, then it didn't come up in another test, comes up again in this test from December 9th. Did you know about that? Did you know about the August test? Dana White said he didn't know about that. Do they inform you every time this pops up?
Yeah.
And how do you process that?
They inform you've been tested, but they've never informed us that
Okay, so your manager is saying that they don't inform you when it pops up, but does that worry you? Because now, if you're saying 7 years, this can keep happening.
Yeah, no, it doesn't worry me because we're figuring out that this thing could live in my body for up to 7 years. It proves that this is something that could have come at any point in my life, and something that's just coming up now. As testing's getting better, this is something that's been found, and the biggest thing to bring to the light and for the people to really grasp is that this gives me no advantage. This, you know, they said this is like a grain of salt in the human body, chopped up into about 48 million pieces. I mean, that's an amount that's not even possible to ingest. How do you ingest something that you can't see, right? So I'm not concerned about this. I'm not concerned about this affecting my legacy at all, because I mean, I got WADA and USADA, the best scientists in the world, saying this has to be unintentional. Who would purposely put the smallest amount of something that's not going to help them in their body. Makes zero sense.
Can you say definitively right now that you did not take anything illegal, any PEDs before this fight?
I could say 100% that I have never taken anything, let alone before this fight. I've never intentionally taken anything that would perform that would enhance my performance. And I even went as far as to take a polygraph test with 2 agents who were former FBI. USADA is a government-funded organization, and I went under oath, meaning that if I were lying, I could go to jail for up to 4 years. Who would put themselves under that knowing they're lying? I passed that polygraph test. So I've never, ever tried to cheat this sport. And science will prove that. Is there something in my body? Absolutely, there's something in my body. Has it helped me ever? No, it hasn't. Science proves that.
You still don't know how it got there.
I have no clue how it got there, and that's the confusing part. That's the bummer about this whole thing. But no matter how it got there, it's almost a non-topic. I mean, we're talking microscopic, something the eye can't even see, something that almost shouldn't have never even been brought up.
Are you upset it was brought up?
No, I'm not upset it's brought up because, rules are rules, science is science, and I think the whole program, the whole USADA, WADA, athlete drug testing program will become better because of my situation. So,
where do you stand with Nevada? Because they say they want to have a hearing in January. Are you going to partake in that?
Yeah, I'm going to do whatever I can do to be relicensed, to be vindicated, no matter how much it costs, no matter how much time it takes. I'm here for this fight.
Have they tested you extra this week?
Have I been tested?
You did the one on Saturday where they flew, but since then?
I did a private drug test with an independent laboratory. I just submitted myself to WADA drug testing.
WADA.
I'm sorry, yeah. All this stuff. Ariel, dude, I'm a fighter, dude. I'm learning as I go. I just submitted to VADA and USADA, and I have nothing to hide, and that's why I'm doing what I got to do.
Finally, your mental space just 3 days before, or 2 days now before your return. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that's been going on.
It's a lot of stuff.
And a lot of drama and flights and people attacking you, and you're continuing to have to defend your innocence. Mentally, what is going on upstairs?
It's, what? It's like no one said that it was meant to be easy, but it will be worth it. You know what I mean? It's like dealing with coming out of a crazy summer, like crazy summer of suspension and mom passing and like fighting back from that, and then freaking now the fans are upset that the event was moved at the last minute. I got to fight through that. I'm fighting the toughest guy I've ever fought before. The guy that gave me this scar over my eye. I've got to face him. I got to talk about science and learn all this scientific stuff last minute before. It's like there's a lot of fights that I'm fighting right now, and that's what makes it great, man. The heart is what makes it great. A lot of athletes want to know where to begin with dealing with this type of pressure. But I've always excelled under pressure, and I thank God for giving me that ability.
Thank you for the time, Jon. Good luck on Saturday. Appreciate it.
You be good.